Stumble and fall. We stumble and fall.
Hello, 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 hello. Hello, Jerry Poor, Zero, Dev Copper, Rex, Janice. Hey, y'all. Greetings to everyone. I hope everybody's having a great weekend. I hope everyone's blessed and doing well until this fight is over with this Mayweather and Logan Paul situation. I wanted to go live Because there's also another live stream I'm looking forward to, which would be Mr. GMT himself. I'm going live later. But I wanted to kind of come on here and do a rant. Hello, Mr. Primetime VA. I'm gonna rant and I'm just gonna talk right now. But what I'm beginning to realize is that divestment wasn't something that was supposed to be learned. It was something that was supposed to be understood and intelligence. If you're intelligent, it doesn't have to be taught to you. You just know to do certain things at certain times. Intelligence. I honestly believe that in life there are certain things that just can't be taught to us. There are certain things that we have to understand or have already been exposed to get the gist of, or to really be living that life, if you know what I'm talking about. If you know what I mean. Living that life. Right. I want to talk about divestment spaces because when I first started commenting on YouTube, and I go back to the journey because I think it's important to notate that, because a lot of people don't know, like my first presence on YouTube was not in a video or on a channel. I just simply listened in joint panels. Then I made an account to comment. Then I started making videos. Then I started showing my face, and then it all just went from there, you know. And it was a great thing. So I just kept doing it, and I still do it. And so when I first discovered these Black Manosphere spaces, it wasn't until maybe a year later that I've discovered, Pink Pill and divestment and things like that. And a lot of times I would listen to their videos and I would be like, you didn't know to already do that? But that was my own insensitivity, because maybe some women don't have access or exposure to certain culture or information or whatever. So I had to check myself on that. Okay, fine. Okay. 2 years later, 2021, I still see abusive women in divestment spaces. And from what I can see, from what I've just learned over the past year, just from watching divestment spaces, because as I always say, and I feel like I have to always repeat this, I'm not pro-Black, never been pro-Black. I've always interracially dated, interracially mingled. Both of my parents were military, so I'm kind of used to being around diverse spaces and people and environments and different cultures and things like that. So to me, interracial dating was normal. Until I came to YouTube, I saw that it was abusive and toxic, and how dare you date her? She's Mexican. How dare you date her? She's Puerto Rican. But what I'm also starting to see is the opposite end of that spectrum, where you have a lot of women who claim to be divested, but they abuse other women let me correct that. They abuse other Black women for continuing to date Black men. Now, let me dissect that. There are a lot of divested channels and communities on YouTube that I think offer great information for young women in terms of career goals and mentorship when it comes to, navigating through the world, professionally and career-wise, and access to resources and research and things like that. I think that's very, very appealing to a young black woman. But I also see certain divestment communities on YouTube that they're not divested, they're mostly invested. Because if you were so divested, why would you be abusing this black girl simply because she's talking to a black man that she feels is respectable, that respects her, or that treats her like a princess, or that makes her happy, makes her smile, makes her feel, like butterflies or whatever? What I'm starting to see is that not only has the black manosphere been infiltrated by people with a different agenda, but that divestment communities have also been infiltrated by that same group, just on the opposite gender of the spectrum. Because real sisterhood is seeing that your sister has a great man in her life, makes her happy, makes her smile, enriches her life in some way. Maybe he eases her anxiety, eases her PTSD, eases her in some way. But then, because he's black, he ain't shit. Or because he maybe made a mistake, or I listen to these panels and maybe a woman, she has a quality man in her life that is black, and you have the leader of, or the host of the channel or the panel, that will start to chastise her, not because she's younger or anything like that, but because she's simply with the man. A lot of these bitches are old and bitter. Old and bitter. And not only are they chastising young women for simply choosing to pursue heterosexual relationships with men and choosing to date and exercise, there are different options and stuff, but don't let it be a black man. Because then she really gets the heat. Oh, it's your fault. Oh, he did this to you. Oh, it's your fault. I have watched some of the most ridiculous shit here on YouTube. And I cannot believe or understand how some people would allow these people to tell you who to date, to tell you you're wrong, right? For simply desiring a long-term relationship. That's something that's very normal. It is not abnormal to want or desire a long-term dynamic with someone that involves sexual and non-sexual companionship. Shout out to, Alan Roger Curry. Shout out to ARC. But don't let it be a black man. So since some of these divested spaces, they're very toxic and abusive because of that. And the reason why I say that is number 3. In some of these divested spaces, they don't know what divestment means. Divestment does not mean dating interracially. Divestment means dating the best for you. Maybe I should say that again. Divestment does not mean dating interracially. It means dating the best man for you. Be he white, black, Asian, Puerto Rican, Italian, whatever. Right? So there was a large percentage of my adulthood where I was completely socially isolated. But when coming out of isolation, I still have the common sense to know that some shit that don't sound right is just simply toxic and abusive. And you discount a person's experience because they don't share every single philosophy that you share with them. So what I'm seeing in these divested spaces are women who are punishing women for just simply being intimate with men. Whether it be, like laughing or swimming on a beach and sharing a childhood story, that's a form of intimacy, or whether it is dating, romantic dating with a man. But don't let it be a black man. She gets even further punishment for that. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I did that video that I did a few months ago about the so-called sisterhood and these women who claim to want to enlighten or enrich you. How the fuck you gonna enrich me? What you gonna enlighten me on? But those spaces are the most toxic and the most abusive. And the reason why is because the women who are running those spaces, they don't have romantic relationships. They don't have intimate relationships with men. And I'm going to address this pick me bullshit too. Bitch, every woman wants to be picked. It is very normal and very biological for a woman to desire and to want a long-term romantic relationship with a man. If that is what she desires, that is normal. And if she is putting herself out there, and if she is displaying her best attributes, or if she's not, or if she's mingling, not only is that her fucking business and none of yours, but it's normal, okay? Because at the end of the day, if you want companionship, you're gonna have to sell yourself. You're gonna have to do some pick me shit, be you a man or a woman. You're gonna have to show what you bring to the table for this person to pick or choose you to be their partner. It's normal. I don't see a man taking a woman on a date if he sees a girl that he likes or whatever as a simp. Now, if she turns you down and she decides that she doesn't want to be with you and you continue to pursue her after that, then yeah, that might be some simp ass shit. She just told you she don't want you. But as a woman, the female equivalency to simping would be pick me shit. And I was recently listening to a panel full of women that were shaming other women for desiring a long-term relationship. That's what most women that pursue long-term companionship desire, a long-term relationship. And what the fuck about that should you be ashamed of? What about that is wrong? It's very biological. As a human being, I referenced this movie back in 2019. I'm going to reference it again. If you ever watched that movie, I Am Legend, what happened to Will Smith? He had a mental breakdown and he started talking to the mannequin. And when the mannequin would not respond back, he had an emotional breakdown. Humans need social interaction in order to survive, in order to thrive. We help each other thrive. We give each other water. We give each other the mental stimulation, emotional stimulation needed to fit and suit our biological needs as living beings. But for some reason, I guess that doesn't matter, though, right? I guess that doesn't matter. So fuck this guy. Fuck him because he's black. Even though he stimulates your imagination, he treats you like a fucking princess. He makes you feel special. He's accommodating. He's sensitive to the things that make you cry. Fuck him just because he's black. But then you'll go over to other communities and embrace them because they help you separate yourself from what makes you, in your mind, black. Even though being black is not a curse, being black is not anything bad, but in your mind it is, because you've been socialized to believe I'm black. The world hates me. I'm black. I have, a mark on my back, or I've been tainted in some way because I was born black. So I have to do every little thing I can do to separate myself from blackness. So I refuse to date black men. And then, see, I can't do it. I can't. I'm done showing compassion to people who refuse to be compassionate to others, because to me, divestment was a mindset. Oh my God. I'm trying not to dig into my personal life. I'm trying not to really do that. But regardless of a person's ethnic background or race, whether they were born in America, Italy, Puerto Rico, wherever they were born, they can still have some nigga shit mindset. Any person, regardless of their race or ethnic heritage, can be a nigga. A white person, an Asian person, a black person, an island person can be on some nigga shit. So to me, divestment was about a mindset, and any woman could divest, and any man could also divest. But it seems to me the men are doing a better job of divesting than the women, because you claim to be so divested, but all you talk about is black men and what they're doing. So if you're so divested, why not talk about and teach black young girls the benefits of choosing better, of choosing higher education, of choosing different research programs that help them advance in life and advance in their career paths, that would propel them forward in life. Why not do that? So you're not divested, especially if you're abusing a woman, you get her on your panel, and you verbally chastise her just for simply dating a man. Y'all, I was listening to, which is a channel I had to completely unsubscribe to because I felt that shit was just bogus. And it just, what angered me was the fact that the women still listened, not even being able to see how abusive she was to other women, but she claims to be for sisterhood. So this lady joined the panel and she was talking about how she dated this man, and the man cheated on her. The host of the channel proceeded to chastise the girl for what happened. Oh, it's your fault. She just completely unleashed on her and made her feel ostracized and made her feel like everything was her fault. It was not uplifting. It wasn't empowering. It wasn't these things that they say their channels are about. And that's not the first time that this content creator has done this to women. She's done this time and time and time and time again to multiple women that have joined her panel. She's very abusive to younger women that shared their experiences about, dating, or maybe she met someone and it didn't go so quite well. It's almost like she's mad that these women have interactions with men, any man. That's really fucked up. So because of that reason, I unsubscribed. I can't. I can't. I can't. That's not divestment is not something that's exclusive to any person based on religion, ethnic background, gender. It's something you do common sense. And the same thing that I said last summer, I think a lot of the red pill content is common sense. Guess what? I also think a lot of this divestment content is common sense as well. You should know better than to mingle with people who not only don't have your best interest at heart, but who are going to take you down a path of darkness, destruction, and failure. Period. It's just to me a very common sense concept. But this world is so diverse. Even America is so diverse. Why would you limit yourself to any group or any ethnic any male? If you're a woman, if you're a man, why would you limit yourself to any? I mean, this world is full of people. We have billions of people on this planet. Your soulmate or mates could be out there anywhere. So why would you limit yourself? That should be common sense off the bat. But I understand that a lot of people, the way they grew up, and because of social conditioning and brainwashing and things, that you couldn't imagine a white person loving you or opening doors for you or not showing prejudice or hatred towards you. I understand that. And I try to be sensitive to that. But when I see women in these spaces abusing other women simply for dating a man that is the same race as them, I can't rock with that. There's balance in all of this. There's balance. Because I listen to a lot of red pill content for men and women. I listen to divestment content. I listen to certain man cave channels because I think they're fucking funny as fuck. I think David Carroll is hilarious. I think he makes a lot of great points. But yeah, I listen. Someone said, Neon, I can't believe you listen to David Carroll because of all the stuff he says about black women. So he's a content creator. He's an entertainer. Neon, I can't believe you listen to Kevin So what? I listened to Kevin Samuels. I was on Kevin Samuels' show back in 2019. I was a featured panelist on his platform, and we was a panel of women, and I believe the title was "The Things That Women Wish Men Knew or Would Say," or something to that effect. But either way, I don't take this stuff too serious because I know that people have bills to pay. So my thing is divestment when it comes to these female spaces. I think the men are doing a better job of divesting than you. And I don't mean any harm out of that. I'm just saying divestment is not about interracial dating. It's about separating yourself from a culture, from a toxic culture, from hip hop culture, from those things that are destructive and that could ruin you or end you. I suspected when I first discovered that one divestment channel, I suspected that it was just interracial dating and swirling. But after I did further research and examination, I saw that I think divestment is about separating from a certain class of people or practicing classism. I don't think it's about interracial dating because you can date someone from your same ethnic group and achieve greater results than someone outside of it. It could go so many different ways. It's about the person and how they were raised and their personal core values and principles on life and their belief system. So I wanted to rant about it, and I did. But the one thing I didn't say in that rant, and y'all know what rant I'm talking about, it was over Tetris. And y'all know what I said. I don't think a lot of people in divestment, and I say people because I'm talking about men and women, because men and women have been practicing divestment. I just think that the men are better at it than the women. But when I say that, what I mean is when you're talking about relationship goals, life goals, and things like that, they're different for every person. If you're not dating someone or seeing someone or involved with someone that core values and principles line up with yours and relationship goals line up with yours, either way, No matter how good you think they are, they're going to cause diversion in your life. I think that's common sense. And so I think it's a lot of common sense shit that we're overlooking because it sounds good. I'm gonna go date this Asian man. I'm gonna go date this white, zaddy. I've dated men of every race. My first boyfriend in high school was Puerto Rican. People come with character flaws. It does not matter where you're from. It does not matter your zodiac sign. It does not matter what state or country you're from. People come with character flaws. It's about that person's mindset. I don't know why that's not common sense. But for the people in the back, yeah. The grass is always greener on the other side. But guess what? It still has to be cut. It still has to be cut. And a lot of times, shout out to Ringo, a lot of times all you'll find are fucking weeds. Weeds. So no, I'm not going to coddle some sisterhood because they're black and I'm black and no, the same way that I go in on the men, I'm going to go in on the women too and hold them accountable and point out some dysfunctional fuck shit because that is fuck shit. If you claim to be for women not dating or remaining abstinent or then separate that from divestment because I don't think divestment means simply not dating at all. Because a lot of these divestment channels are encouraging women and doing the very same thing that we say the manosphere is doing. They're saying that women should not even date at all. They're punishing women for even sharing a morsel of their dating experience. Why are you so mad? Is it because you don't have intimacy with the man? Is it why are you so mad? Is it because you can't get that close to a man? I've seen some of these content creators have the most visceral reactions and responses to a woman in the chat simply sharing a not so great experience with a man. And then the content creator would go in and attack her as if everything is her fault. You shouldn't have been talking to him anyway. He's a man. Like, but she's a heterosexual female who's attracted to men. So y'all get where I'm going. But basically what I'm trying to say, the same way that we say the manosphere has been infiltrated by that one group, the so-called female divestment group, they've been infiltrated by that same group as well. And they're encouraging separation between men and women and encouraging women and women to, I'm not going to finish it, but you know what I'm talking about. Exposed Manifest says, I recently began watching divest channels and it ranges from understandable to extreme. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because I kind of want to understand everyone. I want to understand everyone. I want to understand. That doesn't mean I have to agree with you, but I want to at least understand where you're coming from so I can follow the conversation. I don't want to just be listening and be ignorant. I want to understand what I'm listening to and have an idea of your standpoint on things. And I appreciate people for putting their vulnerabilities out there. I don't want to diminish any man or woman's perspective or experience, but I'm calling this out because I'm a consumer of content. And the same way that they critique my content, I can critique theirs. I've supported manosphere channels. I've supported divestment channels. I pulled back because to me, all of it became abusive. Some of them I still support, some of them I don't. But I think there are a lot of talented individuals on both sides that offer balanced, healthy perspectives, and I'm all for that. The whoever says a lot of these spaces attract the wrong people, people with so much contempt. The smart ones catch onto that quick and fall back. Take that meat and leave the bones. Exactly. And that's all I want to do. Chew the meat, spit out the bones. The thing they need to take into consideration is, does a man like them? Yeah, you look you look attractive and pretty and nice and to you, but do you look pretty nice and attractive to him? And I said that in a divestment chat room, and all the women attacked me. All of them attacked me. I mean, let's just even go a step further. You guys remember when Obsidian used to have his morning streams, and when he used to, I think it was around 8, 9, 10 o'clock, he would have his open panel discussions. I remember it was around Valentine's Day, and I was in the chat room, and I said, in other cultures, in other countries, the women on Valentine's Day, they actually celebrate the men and cater to the man. Have any of the women in the chat ever did that? And all of them called me pick me. They called me a bitch. They called me pick me. They just simply attacked me. They went in on me, and I laughed. I laughed. I don't think that's being a pushover. Because if you're giving that type of attention to a man, obviously or certainly it would be a man that deserves it, right? A man that deserves it. Primetime VA says David Carroll is balanced too. He talks about black men and black women. I rock with him. He calls it how he sees it. Yeah. And then on top of that, I think David Carroll, I think he's funny as fuck. A lot of times in his videos when he's talking, I think he's serious, but I'll be laughing because uh, a lot of times I'll be laughing because I think he's funny. I just like listening to him talk. I half the shit that David Carroll be talking about, I'm gonna be honest, I don't even know what the fuck he be talking about. I don't know what the hell he be talking about. But sometimes I'll just burst out laughing because I know he's serious. But it's the way he says it. It's just I don't know. But anyway, salute and respect to you, Ronald Finkley. D-Style Boxing. Hey, D-Style, did you bet on that fight tonight? I was watching some streamers that went live from the stadium, and I think TBV got over 40K live streamers in his chat. Ugh, I'm still kind of tipsy. But anyway, Dev Copper. Women learn stuff. Okay, women learn stuff from the right men. So they need an example of the right man first. Who that? Yep. I don't know. I think even some women that did have the right a big brother figure or a father figure to help set the example or the point of reference, they ignore it because it's easy to go after what you want versus what you need. And to whoever, a lot of these spaces, okay, I think I already read that one. To wherever, we all date in different ways. Plus, there are black women who genuinely are not attracted to non-black men. You can date a black man and still be divested from the BS. Exactly. It's about a mindset. At the end of the day, it's about a mindset. And I'm glad that you said that we all date in different ways. I want to dissect that because I think that people forget that every couple and every person has a different relationship goals. Not everyone wants the same thing out of a relationship. Not everyone wants the same thing in life. Everyone has different life goals. So I think a lot of times people date based on attraction. And just because you're attracted to someone doesn't mean that you're compatible with them. And I said that on Kevin Samuel's panel 2 years ago. I said that. You can be as attracted to someone as you want. Doesn't mean that you're compatible with them or that you have real chemistry. Even if you have chemistry, you can have chemistry, but it doesn't mean that you're compatible or you have the same relationship style. Like everyone has different relationship styles. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Stingray Cool. I try to examine things from different perspectives and exercise fairness and not be biased because of gender or anything like that. But I have like very low tolerance for people that are prejudiced against someone because of a certain because they date black men. And I've had a lot of prejudice and and even like overt aggressions thrown my way because I date black men. And I think there's a brainwashing and a very unhealthy dynamic in certain divestment communities that's being pushed and sought as healthy when it's actually very destructive. That's why I did the rant that I did about the sisterhood a few months ago, because I meant every word of it, because I'm in these spaces and not only do I skywatch, but sometimes I'll comment, not under a troll account, but under my Neon Eyes account, and I'll say certain things and say what I feel. I think a lot of the divestment communities offer useful information, and I think some of them are toxic as fuck. I think some man cave channels and some men red pill spaces are useful for women as well. And I think some of them are toxic to men and women. And the reason why I say that is because YouTube is not a gender exclusive platform. YouTube, men and women can go in any chat room and say something. And I'm saying that because a lot of men and women on this platform, why do you come to our spaces? And I used to do that. But the thing is, it's not a gender exclusive platform. And even if it was, if I'm having a conversation that's exclusive to women and you as a man want to come and listen, carry your ass and listen. But whatever happens. If you hear something that is not so savory or that flips your mind, hey, that's on you because you decided to be here. And that's that. But my perspective is, I think there's no middle ground when it comes to the divestment community and the men and there's no middle ground. There's no balance. And I've looked for channels. There are even red pill channels for women. Eddie, I listen to him. I even think that some of his views are unhealthy. Yes, I said that. And I think that there are some men and some women that offer more balanced perspectives for men and women. And those are the channels when it comes to this gender space. Those channels I try to embrace when I want to hear about red pill content. And honestly, some of the more extreme views, they're not, they're toxic. They're okay. So how can I put this? um, there are some extreme red pill spaces that are simply entertaining. They're just fucking funny. They're just entertaining, and I leave it at that. I don't let it penetrate me. I don't let it penetrate my psyche or my spirit, and I move on with my day, and that's it. I just don't give it too much airtime or attention. That's it. That's it. Right? Um, whoever says, I've gotten flack from divestment black women for not desiring marriage or children. One told me that me not dating seriously makes the black men win. made me realize a lot of them are divesting to spite black men. Shaking my head. Yeah. Um, the fact that they would say that you're not dating seriously, um, makes black men win. It's that just goes to show that they're not divested, because you may not be dating seriously, but who's to say that you're only dating black men? And that's what I'm pointing out in this stream. They're some of them, their rhetoric is toxic and abusive, because I'm for men. I'm not just for black men. I date men. I date men. I'm not exclusive or only for black men. I date men that I'm compatible with, regardless of ethnic heritage, background, or whatsoever. So I'm happy for your comment, because that explains exactly what I mean right here. And I would say the same for a man. I would say the same for them. And that's why I think a lot of their rhetoric is abusive, because they're stuck on the fence of their dating options, but they don't want to completely get over that fence. And they assume that every black woman is some of the divested spaces, they still only date within their race. And they assume that when they come across a black woman that happens to be around their space, that they do too. Not all of us have that limited mindset of options. But when you date out, that doesn't, you don't date out. Okay, so true interracial daters interracially date because of connection and chemistry. It has nothing to do with race. I date you because we mesh, we vibe, there's chemistry, there's connection. I don't date you because you're white or you're Puerto Rican or whatever. I date you because we got a lot going on right here, and we got a lot of chemistry. But they don't look at it from that standpoint. A lot of it is black and white, and there are no areas and shades of gray, and I can't get with that. And to me, that's when it becomes toxic and abusive. Hi, Joe W. Exposing Menifer says, that's pretty insane. It reminds me of when a person tried to expose me because my ex is Asian. See, to me, that's crazy, because we're people and people date people, right? I just think that some people are intolerant of diversity, and maybe they're so used to being brainwashed into thinking that they should only date a certain type or date a certain thing because that's what they either grew up around or was taught would be good for them or treat them right. When I said yesterday, it can be your own people that fuck you over the worst and the first. I said that, remember? Primetime responds and says, yep, they date out of spite, not love. Yeah. Just to get back at someone. And at that point, really, you're wasting your time and missing out, because you can be entertaining these people. And this is why I think certain divestment channels need to critique their message and adjust, because these girls are going to waste their time and think that, if I date someone because he's a different race, I'm going to get something better, and they end up getting something worse. I've dated toxic men from other cultures. Once I found out they were toxic, I cut it off, but there are toxic men from other cultures as well, and they are also hood-minded people from other cultures as well. That's not something that's exclusive to black people. That's not something that's exclusive, you know, to black Americans. You have some Indians, you have Asians, Puerto Rican, everybody that has that toxic hood type of lifestyle and mindset or culture that they perpetuate through their dating behaviors. So I'm glad that y'all interacted and made those comments, because that is serious. The whoever says, oh, my hands are shaking. It's always black men this, black men that. I'm not happy with a lot of things black men say and do, but I want black men and black women both to be happy no matter who they're with. Yeah. And that's the same thing with me, because I think I said this in Cynthia G's chat and Obsidian's chat 2 years ago. I didn't know that it was such a big deal until I came to YouTube. But I appreciate this social awareness because I want to know about these different mindsets, because if someone is around me that has that mindset, I want to be able to cut them off, and just I know I'd be able to identify it whether I had discovered these channels or not, because obviously my intelligence has gotten me this far. But it's nice to know that it when you're in social spaces, because the thing with the internet is at least 3 to 5 years behind what's actually going on in the real world offline. But I'm glad that I have had this online exposure, because y'all know, like, people who have been following me, they know that I wasn't allowed to watch TV. I wasn't any of that. But to have exposure to what I've been having exposure to, I can appreciate that, because I need to know about social patterns. So I appreciate that. The Herbert says, when I go to a space of only black women, I don't want to hear or talk about black men. I want to talk about us and what we can do to elevate ourselves for ourselves and little black girls to come. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And there are only a couple of channels that I've been around that are hosted by black women, but they don't call themselves divested channels. Their channels are simply just catered to the advancement of young black girls. And I want to start a scholarship program for young black young black girls who are high school graduates entering into university. I want to start a scholarship program, because when it comes to the field of tech and coding and stuff, we are advancing at levels that you would never believe. And I want to continue that and create opportunities for us. You feel me? Hi, Farhia. Oh my gosh, how are you? I hope you've been well. Farhia is a long time subscriber and associate on YouTube. I remember when we used to do panels together. I hope you've been doing well, my dear. Primetime Via says it's not that serious. I grew up in a city with white and a decent amount of Filipino people. Come to YouTube and you would think having non-black friends is a sin. Yeah. Well, I don't know what to say about that. I know that I've shared my experience and it's been brushed to the side, because with my parents being military, moving around a lot in my childhood, especially after my mother passed away, I've always lived around very diverse and, well, culturally and ethnically diverse environments and different people, and I always saw men and women dating different people outside of their ethnic background, and to me it was just always very normal. So when I discovered YouTube and I came on YouTube and I saw that it was a problem with some people, I'm like, I just didn't understand it. A part of me still doesn't understand it, because I'm like, people are supposed to mingle. People mingle, people meet. I don't understand it. Primetime video, when I build this gym in DC after the army, are you coming through? I'm pretty sure I'll have my fitness instruction license through then. How long is it gonna take you to build that gym? Maybe I can have a yeah, I'll come through. Yeah, I'll come through. We could train, some youngsters going to what type of gym is it going to be? Is it going to be like a fitness gym? Is it going to be a training camp gym? What type of gym is it going to be? Yep, Expose the Manosphere. If you guys have not already subscribed, go subscribe to him. I think he puts out a lot of great content that shines a great light on a lot of things that I think people in these different spaces should have access to, especially um especially men that used to be red pill but they denounced it after a while. I wish I had known what point you were talking about though, Expose the Manosphere, because I want to know what point, because I want to expound on it too. You know, uh, prime time, doing research on it doesn't take long. I've been saving up for it for years. I want it to be hardcore fitness and training. Okay, I think that's what's up. So is it going to be like a gym, or is it going to be a private studio, or I'm guessing it's going to be like a private studio. Whoever, I'm pretty open, but it can be uncomfortable for a lot of people. Yeah, I think when it comes to people sharing their experiences, a lot of us are very forward and direct, but for some people, because it may not line up with their experience, it can be offensive off of that alone. And we don't want to be offensive on purpose, but if you're putting your experience out there, it doesn't mean that you're rejecting everyone else's experience. Some of us. But a lot of times you want to offer your perspective because you know the world is more diverse than what they're saying it is. That's all I was saying. You can't start one with 50K to. You can start one. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Prime time. Well, we gonna have to get an interview so you can educate the people on, what they need to start a fitness center. Cause he's speaking some business minded stuff in the chat right now. All right. Okay. Enhanced utility says everyone is mixed with other races, so what's the big deal? I said that in a pro black chat and everyone attacked me. Everybody attacked me. Even the guy that was hosting the panel in the channel, I said even you're mixed with something, and he attacked me. He called me a coon. All of them called me a bootlicker. And I said, well, them boots taste good because slurpity slurp, 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 slurp. Then I need to get to slurping and licking on some boots then, because when I was in trouble, it certainly wasn't a pro-black that came to my rescue. It was a cop. I don't know how you feel about that, but anyway. But I said that. I had to say it because, I said it yesterday or day before. Was it day before yesterday? Yeah. But anyway. Yeah, the C word. Yep. They call me a coon. They call me a coon because I don't hate all police. And apparently that's a crime. I'm half white by my grandfather's side. Yeah. Well, you're more than welcome here. I don't have a racial social hierarchy here. Everyone is welcome here. I don't allow racist rhetoric or anything like that, but different perspective or contrarian perspective is welcome as long as it's not violent or racist or anything like that. So Whoever says the big deal is cultural differences, some people have been immersed so much in their own culture that trying to intermingle with another is straight uncomfortable, and that goes for all races. Yeah, I think so as well. I think so. I think a lot of it has to do with classism too, because I think in non-black cultures they don't believe that black people have an upper class or even an upper middle class. So they condition and socially condition their children to not even mingle, and that the same goes in reverse for black people. Because I've been to many different schools in high school. I went to 4 different high schools, and in each high school it was very diverse, especially here in Texas. Our population here is very mixed, very diverse, and it goes both ways. It goes both ways. And you have some people, their family is sort of balanced in the middle, and they don't have those certain prejudices and prejudgments, but there's still influence. They still can be influenced by those people. So yeah. Primetime VA. I know people who are cops, so I know there are good ones as well as toxic ones. Yeah. Yeah. Like I have an aunt who was a cop. She was a probation officer, correctional officer. She worked in law enforcement for a long time, and she saw a lot of things, and she still tells me stories to this day. And there are good ones, there are bad ones, there are some ones that are in between. But I don't want to lose the good ones because we need the good ones. And we're seeing that in this country, in what's taking place right now with people calling the cops and the cops not showing up, or taking too long, in their eyes, taking too long to get there. And I was also watching a podcast, and they were talking about the different police free zones in California. I had no idea that they even had police free zones in any area of our country. But apparently they're growing bigger and bigger by the numbers. So to all those people out there who want to say defund the police and fuck the police and this and that, y'all know my stance on the police. Ask yourself what you're going to do when you have to dial 911. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people that are calling the cops can't reach them, or the cops are taking too long to get to them because they wanted to defund them, or they wanted to completely eradicate the cops in certain communities. So you got your wish. You got what you wanted. And so now what? From my understanding, divestment means getting away against dysfunction, which I totally agree. That's what I thought it was about too. I thought divestment was about a mindset, a lifestyle, or an understanding about wellness when it comes to your life. But I think some people think divestment is about interracial dating. Because I hear a lot of guys, they do these streams and they talk about divestment community. And they assume that it's all about interracial dating. I know a lot of divestment women who don't make interracial dating out a primary focus, and they may date black men primarily, but they're not going to date a black man that does not have a forward mindset. So to me, it's always been about a mindset. That's what I thought it was supposed to be about when I saw my first divestment stream. Because when I first came to these gender war spaces, I didn't know that there was a divestment community for women and stuff. And if y'all go back 3 years ago on my channel, if you go back in my archive, you'll see there's a stream that I did entitled "Is There a Such Thing as a Pink Pill?" At that point, I had no idea that there was an actual pink pill movement. I just wrote that in the title, not knowing that there was actual a pink pill, because I was hearing about red pill and black pill and blue pill and this and that. And I think I heard someone say pink pill in a small channel, and they were arguing on a panel. And I was like, well, what is a pink pill? And that was before I had ever heard of CK or anything like that. But to me, when I first heard divestment, I thought it was about people separating themselves from anything that would be toxic or hold them back from just moving forward. But I do think there are some spaces that are perpetuating divestment talking points, but they're not divested. They're abusive. And that's the purpose of this stream. I think that some of those spaces are abusive. They're not about divestment. They're about abuse and punishing women for just mingling and talking to men. It's just crazy. Noob X Sayboat. Hello. Things hit different for Neon because she's a neon. I don't know what the rainbow means, but I'm heterosexual. I don't have anything against, rainbow people. They're more than welcome to come in and join and listen, but I just want to put that out there because when we see the rainbow, we know the tendencies that come with that. So there's nothing rainbow about me. I'm heterosexual. Enhanced Utility says, as an Afro-Latino man, I've seen the dysfunction as an observer while in school and in public, so I can understand your viewpoint. Yeah, I just, thank you for your comment. I thank you for your comment because, yeah, that goes a long way, a long, long way, a long way. The whoever says exactly the ones who are truly divested never say that word. They don't even realize they're divested. Yeah, because a lot of times when I'm listening, I'll be listening. That's why I don't listen to a lot of divested channels anymore because I think a lot of them are, like I said earlier, common sense and things you should already know just simply as a human, as an adult. So it's kind of like telling someone they should already know or trying to teach common sense to something that should be understood. CK is so beautiful. She's so pretty. I assume her channel was something totally different from what I heard from when I was pro-black. I was definitely wrong. I want to say something about CK. I think that there are a lot of abusive people that are around her and that are pushing her movement and calling it theirs. I think she does some things that are beneficial for Black women, but I think I'm all for anything that, because I understand that we're all raised differently. Not all of us have had that access to culture or education or information growing up, and you have certain content creators that are willing to give you that. But I do think a lot of what she's saying is common sense and can be Googled, and a lot of those I'm not going to go into grave detail about what I think about her, but a lot of their spaces are abusive, especially if you're not that type of woman that hates, the type of Black woman that hates all Black men. And I'm speaking specifically to dynamics between Black men and Black women right now. But I've noticed in these divestment spaces, when you're not the kind of woman that hates all Black men, they try to ostracize you or give you the cold shoulder if you're light skinned or if you have a certain hair texture or if you're not on the Black man hate train. And they try to be very preachy and get you to adopt this mindset where you have a prejudice against Black men. And I know a lot of well-to-do Black men that are doing very better than non-black men. Now, that's a very basic concept. Doing good, being economically sound and solid has nothing to do with your race. It has all to do with your drive, your achievements, your accomplishments, and your goals in life. It has nothing to do with your race. We don't live in the 50s anymore. You can be black and still succeed. You can even experience prejudice and racism and still be a billionaire. But yet we have people in certain online spaces on YouTube that want you to think the world hates you because you're black. And I don't subscribe to that. I know plenty of black men and black women that are in partnerships together, that are in corporate partnerships together, and they're making moves and they're closing deals and they're doing a lot of things together that are changing the structure of the world. And I love to see that. So that's why I spoke out and did that rant last summer about divestment communities and the sisterhood and this and that, because I think the rhetoric is abusive. If you're for divestment, you're for divestment. Not just divestment when it pertains to white men or Asian men or Indian men. Divestment is divestment all across the board, period. Because even in other communities, be it white, Asian, Puerto Rican, or whatever, you have a lot of people that are degenerate in those communities as well. And to me, there's not a lot of light or balance when it comes to exposing the degeneracy in those other communities as well. And as a young woman who has dated in other communities, I can tell you a few things about other ethnic backgrounds and their races of people and their degeneracy. So when I sit back and I listen to these people talk about, oh, these people are so much better. Oh, I got my zaddy. Oh, I got my one, my Puerto Rican one. You know, to me, it doesn't move me because I've been there, I've done that, I've seen it all across the board. Like I said, my first boyfriend in high school was Puerto Rican, and I've never had this mindset where I have to date exclusively black or practice business exclusively black or only involve myself in black spaces. I've always grown up around, I come from a mixed background. Both of my parents have a very diverse ethnic background. So it's not new to me to see black men or black women with different races of people. I think it's beautiful. And to me, it's just normal. I don't think anything of it. It's just normal to me. You know? But I think it's very unfortunate that we have people that want to place people in social hierarchies based on who they're dating and their race. That's ignorant. That's the very opposite of divestment. That's the very opposite of divestment. That's the very thing that you're supposed to divest from. A limited mindset or a prejudice thing when it comes to dating someone based off the their very ethnic heritage, and that's it. That's the ignorance that we're supposed to be divesting from. But in these divestment spaces, we see women who are subscribing to that way of thinking. And to me, it's like, okay, so you're moving backwards. I thought this was supposed to be about moving forward. You know? Enhanced Utility says, I've always had a forward mindset since I was 15. I day trade stocks and teach economics privately after my career. I think that's amazing. David Copper, it means that you glow, rainbow in the biblical sense, the real sense. Oh, well, you know, when people say rainbow, you know what that means. And I want to make it very clear. I don't have anything against the rainbow community, but I'm not rainbow. I'm heterosexual, and I just want to put that out there. That's it. Hi, Gotti. Hello. Neon's truth, goodness, and beauty is from the heavens like a rainbow, and she has a cute face like a star. That's a lie. I'm from the depths of hell. I'm the brat that came from hell. Stop lying like that. Y'all know I get on y'all nerves. Stop it. Hi, Real Deal Financial. People love to be oppressed. Yeah, because it's easy. It's easier that way. You have white. Yeah, I mean, and that's what I was saying yesterday, or yeah, in my rant with about the Jamel Charlo. and how a lot of black people who have these prejudices against anyone who's not black can ruin um, business ventures and business allies for themselves because they want to be against white people or against anyone that's not black. You end up ruining things for yourself that way, ruining opportunities because you think everyone hates you because you're black. Okay. The whoever says, I spent 2 weeks in the divestment spaces before I realized I don't really need to be there. Her comment wait. Let me start over. I spent 2 weeks in the divestment spaces before I realized I don't really need to be there. Her comment section had African women saying horrible things about ADOS women, so I left. Yeah. Yeah, it's a very segregated space. Even though it's supposed to be for the advancement of black women, it's very segregated. It's very separated, and it's very prejudiced based on class and based on what country you're from and things like that. And I think that works against divestment mindset. That's why I say I think the men are better at being, I think black men are better at being divested more so than black women, because I think when it comes to black women, it's more so about they want to show you, and I think black women talk too much. I think when it comes to movements, it's supposed to be a movement. It's not supposed to be something you talk about. You're supposed to move in silence. And I think the reason why, in my eyes, I see black men as being more successful with their divested movements is because they do move in silence. They communicate through different languages, such as music, codes when it comes to music and symbolism. They use more symbolism. Black women are too loud. We talk too much. We say way too much. And you can feel however you want to feel about this, but this is my perspective and my opinion. Because if you're divested, and that's that. You don't have to prove that you're divested. You're divested, and if it hurts someone's feelings, then their feelings are just hurt. You move on and you continue to be divested. You don't explain why you're divested. You don't focus on what you're divesting from, because that's the opposite of being divested. Does that make sense? The whoever says like you, I'm no longer supporting any women that allow other women to be degraded for no reason. Yeah. And I did that stream because I wanted to make a very clear point of my participation in going back to that one channel that allowed that, because you can't sit here. I don't believe that it's beneficial for any woman to argue. I think it's actually very harmful for women to argue with men in these spaces about their dating choices and about, you know, um, child support and, the different things we see, men and women arguing about in these spaces. I think it's dangerous. And I think that we should try to get away from that, because it takes away from our productivity. You're expounding energy on something that you could take that same energy and put it towards something that could benefit you. Are you getting paid? Are you getting paid to argue with these men online? And even if you are getting paid, is it worth it? Because I'm the kind of person, I'm like this. You got to pay me to argue with you. But even if you're paying me, you have to earn that too. Because it's about principle and it's about reputation. There are principles when it comes to these things. And you don't expound your energy, because when you're in these spaces will make you get old real fast. If you spend too much time trying to argue and reason and go around in circles with people who only want to misunderstand you. And I've been abused on panels, and I went back thinking that someone would have my back, or thinking that people will understand, only to get abused again. I took responsibility for that. I took the punishment for that, and I moved on, and I don't know, no longer will go back to those channels. Um, but it's important for especially Black women to preserve your energy when it comes to something you're fighting for, argument and debate or whatever it may be, even if it's something as simple as argument and debate online, because you're allowing things to penetrate your psyche, and we have to stay focused. Focus on things that benefit us. It's not our job to prove anything to anyone. So I just think it's important that we keep that in mind and avoid spaces that entice women to argue with men. We don't need to do that. Like, get a glass of wine and a a bottle of nail polish and a UV lamp. Do your nails, soak your feet, sit there, enjoy it, get tipsy, okay? Take care of yourself. Go sit in the steam room, go sit in the sauna, go to the spa, get a Himalayan, get a facial, go back home, go to sleep, go to school, go to work, do what you have to do to advance you. But expounding this energy in these spaces, because the women, especially that run those channels, they don't care about the well-being of women. They claim to be for women. They project themselves as being some sort of safe haven or co-ed space for women, but yet they allow the women to get abused over and over and over again. And only certain women they will stand up for. If you're a woman that's a part of the Black struggle, oh yeah, they'll stand up for you. But if you're not co-signing that pro-Black struggle and all that bullshit, they're going to allow you to get abused over and over and over again. And you should reject that. Period. Enhanced utility says other races have other problems. I grew mainly Spanish household and excuse me, in a mixed school in a Spanish church, all sorts of crazy stuff. And I date any woman who is best for me or competitive of any race. I think that's very beautiful. Even as an Afro-Latina American Black women treat me well, and I get more like from them on dating apps, so no complaints from me. Well, maybe because you treat them well. I think people get what they give a lot of times. I love that. So, I was going to put this one on private because I didn't think anyone would come, but I think I'm going to leave this one up. I just would hope that whether you're a male or a female and you're listening to these different spaces, that you would exercise balance in your train of thought. Because believe it or not, even as adults, we're all still very impressionable. We're all like sponges. We soak up things we're new to. We soak up anything that stimulates our senses or whatever. So hopefully someone can get something out of this whole thing. I appreciate your comments as well because they help move the conversation forward. Your comments do help move the conversation forward, so I appreciate all of that. And to all the content creators out there who are in the chat, shout out to you. If you're not a content creator, I think that there are some commenters that don't have channels that create better content and more thoughtful dialogue than actual content creators. Like, we have some content creators that just want to beef with people, start fights and stuff. But then we have people that come in chat rooms and make comments that are more thoughtful than people who show themselves on camera or people who join panels to start drama and chaos. So I respect that. I think that's dope. Because a lot of times it can be the commenters in the comment section or in the chat box that create the content or help move conversations forward. So y'all have a lot going on. Y'all got it going on for real. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's all I really wanted to say for this particular stream. And thank you guys for coming, and I hope that your week loves on you. I'm about to go see what happened with this Floyd Mayweather fight. Oh my god. Did y'all bet on the fight or what? Who betted on the fight? Enhanced utility, that's true. My emotional IQ is high. That women appreciate me more than the men they have dated. So that's probably why. Well, congratulations to you. And hey, date everybody. Date who treats you the best and who you have the best connection with and the best chance with. I think that's beautiful. All right. For me, I think that's it. I'm gonna go ahead and suspend the chat. I think y'all are finished. This was chill. This was a good vibe. I really enjoyed this. I'm getting ready for Mr. GMT. I think he's about to go live. Mr. GMT. Anyway, y'all, I hope y'all have a nice night. I'm outie.